Hi, everyone. Good evening. First, I'd like to thank all of the fellows for their vast experience shared and for those who have accompanied us throughout these presentations. I would also like to personally thank Kim, Mehmet, and Vasuki for their continued guidance and for everyone who supported us from behind the scenes to assure the success of all fellows as we navigated our virtual experiences while undergoing such a tumultuous time, to say the least. And to introduce myself, my name is Stephanie Holguin. I use they, them, she, her pronouns. I'm a second year graduate student at Gallatin, and my research and concentration focus on positioning a human rights framework alongside critical race theory as it pertains to grassroots movements, transnational solidarity, and its proximity to the UN and other large non-for-profit foreign aid organizations working in tandem. Surely I'd like to question its proximity, while I also intend to connect a healing component, how healing can take up many forms, and I'd like to explore what that may look like through the lens of reparations. As my thesis will be centering the statelessness issue in the Dominican Republic faced by predominantly Dominicans of Haitian descent. So that leads me to speak over my work which has led to my work over the summer. The movement and collective I partnered with and continue to maintain a close relationship are We Are All Dominican, or WAD, as I'll use interchangeably throughout my presentation, which is located in New York, and Reconocido, meaning recognized in Spanish, which is how I will refer to them throughout my presentation, which is located in the Dominican Republic. To give an overview of both collectives, I'll begin with WAD, which is a collective of students, educators, scholars, activists, artists, and community members of Dominican and Haitian descent, mainly residing in New York. They formed in October of 2013 in the aftermath of the decision by the Dominican Constitutional Tribunal to revoke the citizenship of Dominicans born to undocumented immigrant parents, the vast majority of whom are Haitian origin. WAD organizes panel discussions, community art workshops, protests, visuals, and street outreach to raise awareness on the human rights violations that more than 4 generations of Dominicans of Haitian descent face, as their right to a Dominican nationality is stripped away and denied by the Dominican government. Due to this decision being passed by the Dominican Constitutional Tribunal, Dominicans of Haitian descent have seen their lives paralyzed as their own government refuses to recognize their nationality. And they refuse to recognize their nationalities by not granting them identity documents that they would need to go to school, to work, to get married, to register your child at birth, a birth certificate. WAD stands in solidarity with the struggle of Dominicans of Haitian descent to restore their right to nationality, and works in solidarity with movements led by Dominicans of Haitian descent fighting for inclusion and citizenship rights, and seeks to educate and activate the Dominican diaspora in order to challenge anti-Haitian and anti-Black discourses. This now leads me to introduce Rikunosido, which is a grassroots-led movement made up of Dominicans of Haitian descent. The movement was established in 2013 in order to continue to fight against human rights violations faced in the country. Their aim is to improve the intercultural and harmonious coexistence of Dominican society, working fundamentally so that the rights of Dominican people of Haitian descent are recognized, respected, and guaranteed, with an effective protection of the state. Reconocido currently has 6 to 8 regional posts throughout the country, to which they have members who are organizing, working on community projects, and educating community members on their rights, including information on who they may call on to if stopped or detained by police or denied services at a civil registry office, or problems with their birth certificates, obtaining a birth certificate or challenging their birth certificate in order to get identity documents. Now, I'd like to speak to my experience during the summer. As my plans quickly changed, I was actually able to expand my network and partner with We Are All Dominican, which I hadn't originally planned. I was supposed to just be working with Reconocido. But as I've collaborated with both collectives, realizing their deep and longstanding relationship to one another through activism in the Dominican Republic and transnational support, I was able to gain a sense of a timeline for the efforts produced by community activists and members who have been navigating human rights injustices and facing blatant discrimination based on their ancestral, familial origins, and anti-Blackness that plagues a culture due to a long history of colonial influence. To address these injustices and further the knowledge on the existing reality for many Dominicans of Haitian descent, especially during these times of a global pandemic, we began to hold virtual dialogues. Collectively, we were able to host between 5 to 20 dialogues, all exploring the different avenues in which important court rulings and laws passed have affected the daily lives of Dominicans of Haitian descent. Just to name a few, we've been able to expand on how human rights attorneys have the conversations we've been able to hold have been able to expand on how human rights attorneys have effectively been able to assist Dominicans of Haitian descent and where they fall short due to lack of support from the government and citizens. We've had conversations that connect art and social movements fighting against anti-racism, how Creole is used as a form of Black resistance. We've had some mirroring conversations to issues faced here in the US and uprisings, and how police is used to oppress those in vulnerable conditions. Through these conversations, we were able to connect with one another in a way no one had imagined the impact. Have the voices of those most affected have a platform to speak to their realities. We've been able to continue to amplify the voices of those who have been silenced by the Dominican state. However, not only did we initiate virtual conversations, but we collectively launched a mutual aid fund that raised more than $9,000 for families most impacted by COVID-19 due to the vulnerability of their citizenship status, as many families of Dominican of Haitian descent were not able to access government-sponsored programs or any form of financial assistance because they don't have the documentation or identity documents to consider them citizens. But not only is there a pandemic, but 2 tropical storms had hit the Dominican Republic during this time. And as I work collaboratively with Rikunosido, I was able to witness the outstanding work and communal efforts they put into planning, organizing, and facilitating these conversations under these extreme circumstances, which only fueled my vigor to try to find innovative ways to continue uplifting my Rikunosido family. And I say family because, as I've mentioned, I have remained in close communication and relationship with both collectives. I was invited with open arms to join the communications team. I joined various group chats to be able to keep in contact with members and activists to make sure everyone was internally being supported and heard. When we were also able to plan a virtual video rendition on July 25th with the Muñecas Negras, which is the Black Doll Project, to celebrate the International Day of Afro-Descendant Women. In honor of this day, as a group, a few women who were part of the Muñecas Negras project put together a video where they all recited a renowned poem by a vivacious Afro-Peruvian activist named Victoria Santa Cruz, named Me Gritaron Negra, They Called Me Black. I speak a lot more to this on my blog, and I've also shared a video created, but I like to highlight that it was only made possible through the kind of relationship fostered and nurtured during this time. This now leads me to close with a few reflections, especially with the kinds of ups and downs this summer experience brought. I do want to speak to one of the most profound and scariest moments I experienced was when I woke up and found out that one of the founding members of Rikunosido, Ana Maria Belique, had been arrested on June 9th when attempting to hold a peaceful vigil for George Floyd. To know that not even a silent, peaceful protest in solidarity for the mourning of Black life of George Floyd was possible. The uproar it created, and to know that they were the ones who had been detained, and to know that members of Rikunosido had been detained, as this right-wing ultranationalist organization named Old Dominican Order would yell, "Dominican Lives Matter." It had the stinging impact and the cringing resemblance of white supremacist propaganda in the US. This was definitely just one of the most eye-opening moments that really widened my scope to how important this work has been and will continue to be. However, both collectives have allowed me to broaden my understanding of transnational solidarity, question how to show up as an ally, the intersection of being a scholar and activist and what that entails, how one fosters Black joy, but not just like Black joy, sustainable Black joyhood. And from offering my knowledge on navigating this new virtual endeavor to participating on collective calls as we brainstorm how to address right-wing nationalists who threaten our work and community members, how to uplift each other in these trying times, and how one encourages rest, but also recognizing the importance of each dialogue and what that meant and its influence and reach. To the themes covered and the panelists who endlessly amplify the voices of Reconocido and kind of injustices Dominicans of Haitian descent face. Lastly, I'd like to end with an invitation for everyone assisting this symposium to look over my blog post, which has links and references to everything I've mentioned this evening and more of my experience, because there was quite a bit. It's a lot of ups and downs. But you'll be able to see where you can donate if you'd like to continue supporting, and if you'd like to, at the time, are willing to and able to support Reconocido in their work, to learn more about their struggle and resilience, to meet the community members. I urge everyone and anyone who can to go check out their Facebook, reach out to them personally, message them. But most of all, I'd like to thank Ana Maria Belique, one of the founding members, and all the entirety of activists and people who continue to do this work, as well as We're All Dominican, who is an amazing collective that I've learned so much from. And I'd like to thank again for this opportunity. I appreciate all of the support and guidance I've received through this fellowship, and the work that has only furthered the work I was able to do has only furthered my research and understanding the overall love for the work I will continue doing. There's so many more things and so many more names to mention, but overall, this experience has taught me so much and has left a profounding impact. And I will continue to work with both collectives throughout my graduate school and after experience. So thank you to everyone. And for those watching, please feel free to reach out to me to learn more, always in solidarity.